And then there's kind of like an elevator or something that moves up and like opens the doors to individual ones so you can put stuff in or out of it, right? And the index is like pushing the button on the elevator to tell you which floor to go to. I guess the floors are backwards in this one, right? But anyway, so for example, if I say students of 1, then I'm going to go to the first one, okay, and then I'm going to put Xavier in, okay? And then if I say students of 4, well, then I'm going to only activate the 4th element of the array, and I can put MJ. Got it? Okay? Or if I say students of 0, that still is legit because it starts at 0, and we can put Omar in there. Yeah?
Would we ever have to take stuff off?
You could do that. So Lewis just said, would you ever have to, like, would I ever say, like, well, take MJ out and blank it afterwards, right? Can we do that?
Yeah.
How would we do that? Yeah.
Students of 2 equals
Quotes. Exactly, right? So first you would say, like, something else equals students of 2, and that would get, well, 2 is at blank. So, you know, I could say, you know, my variable equals MJ of, or students of 4, and that would put MJ in the variable. And then I would say students of 4 is quotes, and that would blank it out again. Does that make sense? Sometimes that's helpful. All right. Reading from an array is just the same. It's just backwards, right? Instead of saying, you know, the array equals something, it's something equals the array, right? So that's the same as it is for variables. You just put the equal sign on the other side. So instead of saying students 2 equals textbox.text, I say textbox1.text equals students of 2. And that's the same thing. In comes my little elevator, and out comes Ruby. Okay? Does that make sense? No big deal. Okay, so just as a reminder, because this is something that we still struggle with from time to time because of our we don't have such a solid understanding even with variables, is that if the equal sign is on the right side, are we writing to the array or are we reading from the array?
reading, writing.
Which one? Writing. Okay? This is putting Marissa in the array, right? Remember the equal sign takes whatever's on the right and puts it in the left. So you can think of, okay, I'm going to 0, right? And then since I'm on the right side, I'm putting it in.
Ooh.
Okay, peace somewhere, right? On the other hand, if I say temp variable of equals students of 3, am I reading or am I writing? Reading, right? I'm taking the stuff from students 3 and spitting it out, right? I'm reading from the array. So we go down to 3. That's 3, right?
No.
Yes.
No.
No. 0, 1, 2, 3.
4.
Okay, see how I did that there? I had that prep, that moment. And I can say, all right, some other variable is equal to students of 3, and that will take a mod out. We don't want him anyway. But no, I guess he gets to stay. He gets to stay.
That's true.
Okay. Right, so when you read from it, it doesn't destroy it, right? Like if you say one variable is equal to another, it doesn't destroy it. It just takes the information out. Okay. I think that's it. Okay, so these are the 3. I'm going to post this PowerPoint, and then I'll also post this video once I get a chance to upload it. Okay, these are the 3 vocabulary things that you need to know. I'm going to show you a quick example in VB, so we're not quite done yet. There are going to be 5 actually assignments on this, and you'll notice how we have assignment 0 now to help you put your. You understand why I put assignment 0?
Yeah.
Right, to remind us that we also have to include 0 in that count zone. So you have 5 assignments. Okay. We're starting at 0, but 2, 3, and 4 are like really, really quick additions to already number 2. Okay, so the first one you're going to add up to 5. Remember that first example that I showed you, where it was like 5 numbers that you have to add together. You're going to use an array to make that happen. It's not going to be particularly faster to use an array for that, but it's just good practice learning how to use arrays. Okay, the second one I'm going to upload to Edmodo. It already has an array that's like previously stored in there, and it's going to be your job to read out. And the array is going to have 26 elements, and it will have A, B, C, D in each one, and your job to like read it out and write the alphabet. Okay. Then you're going to write another one where somebody puts in, say, 100 in one text box. Quiet. Okay. Somebody puts like 100 in one text box and hits the button, and then your program will make an array with 100 elements, and each one will have a random number in it between 0 and 10. That was interesting. And so you could put in 100,000, and it will make an array with 100,000 elements. The 3 and 4 are just an extension to 2. In 3, you'll calculate the sum of all the numbers. So if they put in 100, you get 100 random numbers, and then you'll also calculate the sum of all of them if you add them all up. And 4 is the same thing. If they put in 100, you get 100 random numbers, and you also calculate the average of all those numbers. Interesting.
Is that all new today?
But there's plenty of stuff to get going on. Okay, and also, people. I don't think there was anybody that did anybody like totally finish the challenge.
No.
So I'm giving a bonus day for the challenge today if you want to keep working on that. Okay, but that's it. Because usually I don't let people hand in the challenge late. But some people still have not finished the project, so that is your work today. Okay. Before we get going on the assignments and everything, we've learned about arrays. I just want to show you quickly how to use an array in the code. Okay, because we haven't done a full-on example. So stay put for just another few minutes, and then we'll get going. Okay, easy now. So one thing that I haven't yet showed you, and that is sort of the most powerful part of what arrays can do, this is important, is how we can combine what we've learned about loops with arrays. Right? Because with loops, we know how to make a number go up by 1 over and over and over again, right? Remember, we can say for I equals 0 to 10. Remember the for loop, guys? I'm not seeing the focus I had 3 seconds ago. Where's everybody's eyes? Folks, I need your attention. Okay, so we used to have this thing like a for loop, right, that could make a variable go up, right? We could say for I equals 1 to 10. Remember that? Okay, if we combine that with arrays, that's really powerful because we can say for I equals 0 to 10, and then we can make that I go up, and that can be the index for our array. The array of 0, the array of 1, the array, you remember saying? So let me show you how that works. That's what I want to do. Okay, so what should we do here, guys? What do you think? Let's do.
Out of 5 boxes.
What's that?
Out of 5 boxes.
No, that's the first assignment. All right, so I've got a button here. Can you guys see that? Should I zoom in a little bit?
3 boxes too.
Yeah. No, that's interesting, but I'm not doing that. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do.
2 boxes.
This one is going to be called
Little piggy.
index. Okay. And this one, actually that'll be the index. And this one will be called value. Can you guys read that? Okay, so this one's the index, and this one's the value. Okay, and then I have this button. Okay, and then I'm just going to add one last text box. It's going to be like a multi-line one like this. And then let me just name these things so I don't get confused. All right, this one's called the value text box.
So you can't have space.
I did.
You did in the first game?
I did not. $100. Yeah, it would yell at you. Okay. So this one's called the index text box. This one's called the value text box. This one's called the output text box. You with me? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first declare an array, and I'm going to just declare it with, what do you want, 10 elements?
Yeah.
All right. So an array with 10 boxes. Who can raise their hand and tell me how I would declare that? And they're going to be integers. Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah. I want 10 boxes. Let's call it a number array.
Alright, number array.
Okay.
Number, 9.
Yes. Why is it 9 and not 10? Somebody else.
0 column.
There's a 0, right? So 0 all the way up to 9 is 10 things. Okay, and we want it to be an integer, so...
As in,
Okay, good. So I've got this array. It's got 10 elements, 0 to 9, and it's called number array as an integer. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is, when I press the button, I want to write to the array. And I'm going to take the index as the thing that gets put in the text box that says index, and the value that gets put into the array as the stuff that's in the text box that says value. You understand what I'm doing?
Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, so let me draw it out while we do it. Oh, I see no markers. I'm upset.
I got that.
Ah, thanks. Okay, so I'm not going to draw... Well, all right, I'll draw 10 boxes. Here. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now remember, these are not the values that are being stored inside the array, right? The array is going to have integers, yes, but these are the indices, which is the plural of index, or indexes, Okay, that sort of help us to look up which box we're talking about. Does that make sense? Okay. So what I want to do is I have two text boxes, right? I have one that has the index and I have one that has the value. So when I press the button, if the index is say 3 and the value is 22, then I want to put 22 in the third index. Does that make sense? Actually, yes? Okay, so all right, one more time. So I got two text boxes on my form. Okay, I'm making them long like this so you don't get confused with like box. Okay, this one's the index one. This one's the value. Okay, and what I want to have happen is if they put say 6 in the index box and 400 in the value box, index 6, I should put 400 in the array at index 6. Okay, make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I do that? Raise your hand. I'm going to take one line of code. I need to hear it from somebody I haven't really heard from today. All right, Caleb.
So,
The array is called number array.
so the number array
Okay.
equals index.
Equals index text box dot text like that. Is that right?
No.
No. Okay. So first of all, with an array, and you can tell because it's giving you an error. Okay. With an array, I don't think there's any situation where you can just use the whole array like this and say it equals something. You have to talk about an individual element. So how do I specify an individual element? Show me with your hands like I'm showing you in my hands. Right. We need parentheses. Okay. And how are we going to specify which element we're talking about? Say that again. Which text box? The index one or the value one?
Index.
Which one?
Index.
The index is telling us the index, right? So inside the parentheses, I can say index text box dot text, okay? And that's going to work, okay? That's going to work. This index text box dot text is going to have, 6 in it, like in our example, okay? And we want it to be equal to the value text box, okay?
Yeah.
I knew that.
I think you should do this more often.
Yeah, you like this? Okay. Questions? Actually, we're good on that? Okay. That's not going to do anything. I mean, it is going to do something, right? So I can press play and run this program, and I can put my 6 and 400 in there. Here's my index of 6, and my value of 400, and I can hit go, and it went. Okay, but we didn't actually show that information anywhere, right? It's just chilling in the array somewhere.
And then put go back.
Okay, we need to spit the information out. Okay, so I'm actually going to add another button for doing this because we're going to do it all at once. And this is where it's going to get really interesting. This button will show us the stuff when we're done. Okay, so this is where it's going to get super interesting. Okay, we're going to have to think back and remember our friend the loop so we can spit out all of the information from our array. So we need to loop through the entire array and spit it all out at once. Right? So let's start by saying this. We have 10 elements in the array, right? The element indices, guys, this is the most key part. I need everybody's focus here, and then we'll be done with me talking for a while. Okay. So we have 10 elements in the array. They go from 0 to 9. We're going to use our friend the loop, which we've been away from for a little while because we went back to timers, but now we're back to the loop again. Okay? And we need to make a loop with something that goes from 0 to 9. So who can raise their hand and tell me how to make that happen? I want to hear from somebody new about the loops. Yeah, just do it with a for loop. Give me a for loop with something that goes from 0 to 9. For I, who else? Somebody else? You can't say just 2 there. Equals 0 to 9, right? Okay, we don't need to include a step here because it's just going to go up by 1, right? Okay, and now we have a variable that's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I want to put that, now I can use that to go through my array, right? And I can stick it in the output text box. So I could say output text box, oops, dot text is equal to number array of what?
6.
Well, okay, so 6 is a good idea.